My name is Gabriela Reyes. Welcome to the Realtor Chat. I'm a licensed realtor, and we're going to discuss today house values. Just a disclaimer, everything that I say is for entertainment purposes only and is not legally binding. So let's get to it. Basically, there's different ways to understand how the market works here in Florida, and we're going to try to explain that as thoroughly as possible. The market in Florida is complex. It has an input of forces that changes it constantly. So it's very dynamic. And we're going to try to explain how that works. So let's get to it. First of all, obviously, if you have any sort of comment or question, just like DM me, write it on a comment, like and subscribe. Obviously, if you're interested in this content, I do my best to educate my clients as well as my potential clients, because I know that knowledge is power, and when you understand what you're doing beforehand, it's easier for the process to go smoothly of buying a house or selling a home, whatever is it that your needs are. Okay, so there's different ways to understand the value of a property here in the Tampa Bay area, specifically Florida in general, and so we're going to discuss that. Let me just change the screen. Okay, so I'm gonna use as an example this 33606. 33606 is very good to use to explain how the dynamics of the Tampa Bay area, because it has different characteristics. The first one is that it's right in front of a body of water, and this body of water is the sea. And so it creates weather events. The second one is that it's a luxury market. So it gives you the complex situation where, yes, houses are in more danger, but they're also more expensive. And it kind of it serves the purpose of explaining to the client that, it's not necessarily when you're close to the water or when you're away from flood zones that you have a better value of your property. And then there's also the situation where it's here you go. So it's divided. It's a divided zip code, and it's joined by basically by a little bridge right here. So geographically, it also has its complexity. So when you go into Redfin, you can obviously see, you can obviously put a zip code, you can put an address, whatever is it that you're looking for. But if you put a zip code, you have a series of houses that are, potential houses to purchase if you're a buyer. And this zip code has units like this, condos, it has historic homes, it has new homes, it has duplexes, so it has a very good variety. It even has vacant land. It has a good variety, and so it's good to use as an explaining tool. Okay, so if you go down after seeing all the houses, you start seeing the stats. The stats are really important before purchasing a property, because that way you are a knowledgeable buyer. Okay, so if you go down here, you're going to see this little graphic. So this little graphic is going to explain to you how the market works in this area. It's a 3-year right here. You can put 5 years if you want to do more. You can put 1 year if you want to do less. 3 years is pretty good. So the 3-year mark, okay, see, you see here, like in January 2023, then the market was insane. Tampa was the place to be. Everybody wanted to move here. You can feel it in your veins. You can feel it in your body. Like everybody wanted to be in Tampa. And so everybody bought, but then the market stabilized, right? And it became a very stable market, and it has been a stable market. But something happened. Something happened in September 2024. You guessed it, Helene happened. So Helene happened in September 2024, and you can see it here. You can see August, the weather obviously wasn't cooperating, but then by September, it's a minus 25.4%. Why? Because buyers that are from outside of the state and outside of the area, when they see danger of this sort, it tends to they tend to go away from the area to invest. So they try to invest in different areas that are more secure, that are less prone to weather events. But the reality is that, even though you see a flooded street, it doesn't mean that the value went down. But it did, because like there's a lot of people that stop buying in the area. Okay, so right now we're in a very stable, kind of like going up and down, but you can see November 2025, it's still a buyer's market, and we're still in a buyer's market. Now this is going to change in a few months, because, well, interest rates are probably either stay steady or go down, which is obviously well, it's a plus. There's going to be more buyers, and eventually, there's going to be buyers competing with buyers, which makes it a seller's market. Okay, so you have all this, and this information is valid. Now there's another tool that has more information, and that's Zillow. So in Zillow, you have, well, you obviously have, okay, you have it right here, the same area. You can see that it's a luxury area. You $2 million, $1 million homes, 260, 3 million. You can see that the area is a luxury. It has luxury properties. And well, let's choose this property right here. Okay, so I'm not using this property for any reason particularly. I'm just using it to give an example. So I can use any other property for this. So this property, for example, is 3,295,000. This property, it has all the information. Now this is really important. Okay, so first thing, days on the market. It has been 6 days on Zillow. Zillow and the MLS, they connect automatically. So when you have a realtor, and this realtor inputs your home on the MLS, which is the tool that every realtor, every licensed realtor uses, the MLS. The MLS is a tool that we all use because it has all the information on a home. It has the information of how many days it has been on the market, how many times it has been on the market, since when it has been on the market. It has title information. It has information from the county. It has the taxes. It has the schools. It has everything. So we as realtors use that information. Obviously, only licensed realtors can use it. So you can see some of this information, like the amount of days on the market. This one has been 6 days. What does that mean? That means that if you offer less, obviously it's a buyer's market. So if you offer less, but it's been 6 days, the seller probably is going to go, no, I'd rather wait a little bit longer before I go for a low ball offer. But you never know. Okay, so you go down here. Okay, you go down here, you see all the specs of the house, right? You see how many bedrooms, all the features of the property, construction type. Okay, so you hit the HOA. So it has no HOA, which is great, and I'll tell you why. So there's two buyers out there. There's the type of buyer that's buying a house for themselves because they want a homestead. They want a house where they can live. But then there's the second type of buyer, which is the buyer I specialize in, that wants a second home. They want a vacation home, especially here in Tampa. They want to have a vacation home. They might want to rent it before, when they're not there, make a little money out of it. Why not? So when you don't have an HOA, you don't have this third party telling you you're not allowed to do so. The HOA, sometimes it creates these regulations that say how many times you can rent a house, how many days, if you can do so or not. And so it might be that the county allows it, but it might be that the HOA doesn't. So you're not allowed to. So when you don't have an HOA, yes, you don't have amenities, but you do not have regulations that would tell you you're not allowed to do things. Now, it's important to know that the HOA is not the only entity that would regulate. The county regulates, the city regulates, and they all regulate short-term rentals as well. So keep that in mind. We're going to discuss that in a different video, actually. So, just be on the lookout. We're going to discuss that, and we're going to discuss the flood zones in a different video as well. But right now we're going to discuss the pricing. So that's what we're going to do. It's important to, okay, the estimate. This is really important to understand. The estimate is an average of the homes in the area. Basically, it's an algorithm. It's not a person. It's an algorithm that tells you how much a house potentially is. The estimate is not very accurate in Florida, particularly because in Florida, properties are priced according to how close, many times, not always, but many times they're priced according to how close they are to a body of water. So if you have a property that is waterfront, it's going to be a lot more if that same property was 3 blocks away in the same neighborhood. And the estimate does not understand that. The estimate doesn't understand that the bodies of water are basically dictate how much a house is worth. So that's something to consider with this estimate. Redfin has its own thing as well, but they are algorithms and they don't understand this. So, okay, the price history. This is probably the most important part that you can see as a potential buyer. The price history is going to tell you how much the listing price is. It's going to tell you how much more the price is compared to the last time this house was sold. Why is this important? Because you need to know how much money the homeowner is making when selling the house. That's going to give you a cushion for when you place an offer. If the homeowner is making a lot of money and it's a buyer's market, you can actually go lower on that offer and they're still going to make money out of it. So if you have a house and you see that the house is being sold very close to the price that it had the last time it was sold, then obviously the homeowner is not making a lot of money. They're probably not gonna want to have an offer below asking price. But if they're making money out of it, when you compare it, like this house is 285% more, then you know that they're making money out of the house. You can offer less. I'm not saying that you should do that in this specific house. I'm not saying that you should offer less. I'm just saying that if the house is something to consider. If the house the house is probably worth this, because obviously realtors do their homework and their due diligence when pricing a home. But you as a seller can do this as well. You can do your due diligence and offer accordingly, especially in a buyer's market. So obviously the taxes are important to consider because taxes are taxes and you need to have that money set aside. Okay, so there is that. Now, let's say that you don't want a house as a homestead. Let's say you want a house as a second home, like to buy as a beach house. You want a house to maybe Airbnb, which is my specialty. So you go into a different website. And this website is going to help you. It's going to help you. Why? Because it's going to show you the house from an investor point of view. I'm not being paid by this website. I just use it and I want to share it with you basically. It's called Rabbu, rabbu.com. Okay. So this website, it's gonna show you basically, I don't know if you can see, it's gonna show you how much a house is, yes, like other websites, but it would also show you the annual revenue that house would make and the gross yield. Now, this is really important. The numbers that you see on this website are hypothetical. They're theoretical numbers of houses and the potential they have to be rented as a short-term rental or as a rental. So when you see these numbers, this doesn't mean that the houses you see are already generating revenue. What it means though is that these houses are have the potential to do so. Now, I'm also an investor. I'm a realtor and I'm an investor. And as an investor, I would not invest in a house that has a gross yield that is less than 15%. Obviously, you can do so. It's just a matter of how much money you want to pay per month for the mortgage, like compared to like how much money you're making. So basically, you need to make a decision. Okay, I'll pay $1,000 per month because I want that house and it's all right. And I want to pay $1,000. I'm not going to pay more than that. So the house has to generate the rest. Then, okay, yeah, the gross yield doesn't have to be 15%. It can be less. It depends on how much money you're willing to pay per month for the mortgage, towards the mortgage. Okay, so we see this house, for example. This house Is has a gross yield of 15%. Bingo, that's what you're looking for. It's actually an Airbnb potential, and it has an agent pick. Obviously, you gotta understand that there's regulations that might not allow this house to be in Airbnb or all those websites. Okay, so this house is $350,000. That's great. It has no HOA, which is even better. It's in front of a body of water, which investors love, because it has the potential for vacation, which is what people are looking for really when they're buying in Tampa or in the Tampa Bay area. Okay. So when you see it has the information, obviously. Okay, so when you see the projected returns, this is important. It shows the revenue, which we already saw, and it shows the cap rate and the gross yield. So these two things are different. The gross yield does not involve the maintenance. The maintenance that you're spending on this property. The cap rate does. So you gotta remember, in reality, the cap rate is more important, because it would show you how much money the property would take from you to have it maintained. And then, you still have the price history, which is great, the public tax history, and it also, the projected revenue by month. See how the seasons change? And I'm going to tell you why. The seasons change because when you have winter up north, people get tired and they want to come on vacation. So they vacation here, and then when they have good weather up there, they don't want to come back. So it's basically snowbirds just flocking inside Florida because they're tired of the weather. And that creates an Airbnb demand. And that's why you have this, okay? So that's basically the information. Something else that you gotta remember, if you want to invest in any place that you're not very let's say informed about, one way to get informed really quickly is to use the U-Haul Growth Index. The U-Haul Growth Index will tell you, basically it's this little website that U-Haul has, and what they measure is the amount of just basically U-Haul rentals that you have coming out of a state and into a different state. And it creates this migration pattern. So these trends, they are a good way to know if the place where you're investing is a place where people are going to be buying soon, or if the people are leaving the place and your house is going to be in the market longer. If you go Florida, you can choose Florida, right? And you can choose it by state, year, Florida, continue. So you can see here how the in-migration is 50% and the out-migration is 49%. So it's pretty much the same amount of people that are coming in are coming out. It's a safe investment. You don't have a lot of people coming out of Florida. And then you have the leading U.S. growth cities. So you can see here that the number 1 is Ocala, number 2 is Northport, Kissimmee, Claremont, Fort Lauderdale, St. Augustine, Daytona Beach, Panama City, North Fort Myers, Leesburg, Sarasota, and St. Cloud. And then the metros, you have Lakeland, Palm Bay, Jacksonville, and Port St. Lucie, and Miami. Okay, so you see so this would help you understand the movement of the country, basically, and what the trends are. Things change. Something happens and then everybody's moving someplace else. As long as you're within the understanding that this affects the area you're buying or doesn't, if you understand that, then it would help you be an informed buyer. So that's about it. Obviously, as I said before, if you have any questions, if you have questions or comments on my video, just subscribe, comment down there, DM me. If you need a realtor in the area, I would definitely be available. And I have all this information that I can use to help you find a home. And yeah, that's about it. So if you have any questions, let me know. And this was the Realtor Chat. So knowledge is power. Remember that. Bye.